Kinsey.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Klein. Mossberg. Logston.
Here. We'll go on to the next item, approval of minutes of regular meeting held 8th of April 2024.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Call the roll.
Parker.
Yes.
Kinsey.
Yes.
Yes.
Logston.
We'll go on to the next item, reports from the staff, city council report.
Well, most of what we've been working on has been getting ready for budget. We have had, we've got a special meeting this week, and we got a budget item on the agenda, so we'll save that. But we do have a special meeting this week to discuss or hear a presentation from Retail Strategies. They're a group that does retail real estate development. In the communities that they work, they tend to have a pretty good track record of bringing in new business and business that will increase sales tax collections. So restaurants, shopping, stuff like that. And so that's what we got coming up this week, later this week. And then we did hire a finance director for the city, and that's official, right?
Yeah, she had paychecks and everything now? I haven't had a chance to ask you.
Well, she's not completely in there, but she is official, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We hired a finance director, Sadie Beard, who's stepped down from city council, and will be, Steve hired her either last week or this week to be the finance director. We were looking for a solution to basically having an equivalent amount of money spent with a contractor in Oklahoma City for our accounting services, which we hadn't anticipated on that continuing to be so high. But with that being the case, it made sense to hire our own full-time person with local knowledge to be in that spot. And so Sadie's kind of started helping wrap up the budget process and learning some of that stuff. And I don't know, Steve, is there anything else? Happy to take any questions.
Did anything ever develop on the lease with the State Department?
I don't know if it's right at that time.
Back burner?
So
As long as we're charging them interest.
I need to talk to them, because the last time I talked to them, they said that
They were planning on vacating this building and that lot, but they didn't know exactly when. So I need to find out exactly when they're planning on doing that, and then we kind of decide from there what we want to do.
Any other questions? If not, we'll go on to the next item, manager's report.
As you can see, we had another good month last month. Total sales was $45,571.74. I mean, the total of avgas sold almost matched the today's sales. So I mean, I think that's the most avgas sales I've had since I've been here. It was almost $20,000. So I don't see a decline happening in that, but I have seen a decline this month from Jet A sales. But avgas is still going strong. I think if you go back the past couple of years, May, June, and July have been our slow months anyway. That's because it gets hot and nobody really flies as much. So we'll probably see a little bit lower fuel sales. I've got the fiber fully, I think I forget what they call it, but it's they're gonna turn it on, May 29th. We had to have, our IT guys, they'll be here on the 29th. My luck with phone calls today did not go well. I had to actually just email our local representatives to finally get scheduled, because you get talking to some dude named Muhammad and you can't understand, and it's ridiculous. So finally got that going. And I did not get a tracking number for the Avgas truck part, but we're still on track for it to be delivered Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, the 15th. So,
May 15th?
yeah. And so once that part's delivered, they're gonna scoot it on in there, fabricate the drive line, and send it to Freightliner to get it programmed, and then we should have it back. I'm not 100% for sure. I guess maybe I should call the OCC to see if we get it back, if we have to have it calibrated, since it's going to have a new, I don't know, I probably wouldn't have to. It's got the same system on it. So. But I'm going to make sure, just so we're not, that way we don't get in trouble there. I don't think anything else. I set on your guys' table from the Oklahoma Department of Aerospace. It's the letter of interest for the project for the taxiway rehab. We sent that in today. I just put that on there because we just needed it in there by the 24th so they can have it on their May 29th meeting. It's just to officially add the project to their airport construction program. So that's just a little extra reading. Let's see here. Staff-wise, I feel pretty comfortable with what we have now. Jason May, we extended a full-time offer for him, and he accepted that, so he's full-time starting May 18th. And Susie is learning stuff on the weekends, and she's working out really well. So I feel pretty comfortable going forward now with what we have, so better than I have. So other than that, mowing's going pretty good now since it started raining. All the equipment's ready. Of course, we've already started mowing, so. Young Eagles program, flight deal should be this weekend. If we're gonna get the confirmation probably this evening or tomorrow on whether it's gonna be the 18th or the 25th. I have that whole email group ready to email if it's confirmed and ready to go. So. And that's pretty much all I have.
What about your radio?
Radio, yeah. I'm going to get with Dale and get that information on that radio that he's got. I just I had Stoll's Telecom from Oklahoma City come and take a look, and they were supposed to get me a quote, and I tried getting a hold of them, and they didn't respond back, so I'm probably just going to get with Dale and get that radio that he suggested and get it in here, so.
It's
For 2,300, somewhere around there.
You know, it's a brand new iPhone 760 channel. It's a new box with power supply, speaker, microphone. It's just plug it into the wall, connect the antenna, and you're good to go.
The other thing,
And this one's an Icon, so it's been here since Carol Benson was manager.
Yeah.
or
I think it
before.
was since the White Brothers.
And
It
it's
should
been
hook
on-
up to that same antenna, right? And then,
Yeah, it's the same, aircraft radios, you all use the same connector. It's the quarter turn.
gotcha. I'm just, now, see if we can still get it moved over here.
I would think so. I can work with you, we'll figure something out.
In your keeping of the information on fuel sales and gallons and all that stuff, is there a decent way to keep track of what our profit is on that?
Yeah, I could probably go back and get that information.
I mean, you know, and you don't necessarily do this story, but I mean, like, figure out something going forward where we can do that and weigh that against, you know, some of our cost of operation, like labor, you know, fuel filters for the trucks, things of that nature, to see if we're losing money, if it's a losing money proposition, if we're breaking even, if we're actually making money on it. Because I think as we go forward, we're going to see things start probably getting a little tighter, particularly as inflation goes along.
Yeah, we can go through that. I know when we were doing the budget, we kind of saw that, but I hadn't got the money in from my bill survival flight wrong, so we didn't get the money for about 3 months, so we finally got it, so it should show a difference.
Because I know in the old days, when our budget was simpler, I know we had set, you know, 50 cents a gallon as our profit, so that we had a way to budget, so we would know, well, on average, we're selling this many gallons, so at 50 cents a gallon, this, and so that gave us a dollar number to actually budget with.
Yeah. I don't have much accounting skills, but I
Understand? Well, just something that if we have a way of figuring it out as we go forward to kind of give us I know sometimes there could be overlaps between fuel buys at different prices, but if we just have a basic idea as to what, because you know, fuel filter costs us what, $1,500, you know, some of that kind of starts adding up after a while.
Probably the easiest thing to do is figure out the total number of gallons purchased or sold, both, at the end of the year. And then we would have a whole fiscal year. I think you've got the data. It's be a matter of compiling it.
And I've saved the old, well, I have to save the old fuel receipts from gallons received and everything, so.
And do an end of the year inventory of the number of gallons you have, so we can get.
Yeah, because, well, that's coming up here next month, in the fiscal year, so. Shouldn't be hard enough.
Yeah, that would give us total number of gallons bought, dollar figure that we paid for those gallons, and then the dollar figure that we sold it for. Any other questions for the manager? If not, we'll go on to the next item. Discussion and action regarding to propose fiscal year 2024/2025 annual airport fund budget.
So kind of, and again, like I said last year, the budget is kind of our best guess at, you know, how things could go. Where if you look at that sheet, you've got the blue headings at the top. The one on the left says budget, the one in the middle says estimated, and then the one on the right is the proposed budget for 24-25. The estimated is purely a math calculation. We are looking at March 31st numbers and dividing that by 9 and then multiplying it by 12 to get the estimated for the end of the year. And so we kind of used that to put together the proposed budget. We did with the grants, we're not anticipating as many grants for the next fiscal year. I think that's, I can't remember, what's the 300, is that the?
ODA, that's the above ground storage tank.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's all that we've got budgeted right now. Of course, you know, we work with Toby if something else or other options. If there comes opportunity for other grants, we'll seek them. The biggest difference in the budget is probably that. We are projecting that we'll have an increase in charges for services, and based on interest rates, we projected an increase in interest earned as well. Everything else is
So when you say like in line 4515, where you show the estimated at that higher number, and then the proposed budget's about half of that. So you're thinking interest rates will go down then?
they've started going down. I
Right.
don't know if they'll go down that much. I mean, Steve, I mean, what was your?
I tried to budget as flat as we could, and that was kind of my guidance. That's one of them that I increased it to try to get it to balance. Not that I had to get to balance, I wanted it to, just it makes it cleaner, I think. So I bumped that up. I think it was down at 10,000 or something, really low.
I completely understand. I was just wondering, what you said and what I was reading seemed to be two different things. So I was just trying, so there was like, I guess one of my curiosities is like line item 4628 on the leases of oil. We had budget this year at 150,000, that's what we've set on for the last few years. And based on our income, I would see that it would be about 117,000, yet we put 150,000 back into the budget. So I didn't understand if you guys knew something, if they had reworked the wells, or if there was something increasing there. Because it seemed like we would base it based off last year's production, because it seems to be diminishing.
Yeah, we should do that.
Drop it to 117.
They had to redo the wells, and so they put.
Yeah, they did do some work on the wells, they put pumping for the well this year.
So they,
That's why there was a decrease. It was about 3 months worth, I believe.
yeah, I mean, I remember seeing,
But I think it's
Like-
back to normal, if I'm not mistaken, but I can come back with those numbers for you. Or I can let you know.
did they give a reason why they stopped it? Were they doing maintenance? Or?
They reworked,
So they were doing the rework.
So, I mean, like we talked in our budget meeting, I guess one of my concerns is that the reason we have the investments that we do is we didn't spend the oil money. In the last 2 or 3 years, we've had to spend the oil money because of these runway lights and other things that we had to take care of. And we may have to spend it this year to take care of the avgas system. But I'd like to see us at least be a balanced budget as best we can. And if we can't say, it'd be nice if we get to the point that we weren't spending the oil money again, where we'd be setting that back. Like if we could set it back this year, we would have our 100,000 that we saved this year for the next year's, for the 25, 26 fiscal year, for the runway lights, or the taxiway lights and the runway overlay. We would have saved that back for that. And with the projects that some people would like to see accomplished out here, if we don't start saving money again, we're not going to be able to increase that, particularly if we're budgeting the interest earned and spending that rather than saving that as well.
This still has to go in front of, we can make changes now and we can make changes later too. But would you prefer that because we've got transfers in from fund balance, $230,000, and that's going to be what we've saved over the years. So if we that amount. I mean, we can obviously increase, I feel like we could realistically increase the interest earned. I don't know if we would earn as much as we did last year.
Right.
But I think you're right, we could increase that. And I would tend to, based on what they said with the wells being shut down, 150 is probably going to be okay if production is picked back up to where it was.
So the last check, well, the last financial showed almost $10,000. If you take that out 12 months, that's 120,000. You're still 30,000 short.
The last one showed what?
9,000,
It was right at
almost 10.
9 something.
We can adjust that. I mean, it's a guess.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But I'd rather go on guess based on what history we've had. And if we have more, then we're blessed.
So, let me reverse engineer this.
Best guess, the best we can.
But I was just curious.
Because you're saying there was 3 months that we didn't do?
Yeah, that's what Heather said.
Am I correct? That was this year, wasn't it?
So if we take the oil lease year to date at 97,793 and divide that by 6, right? Times 12 is 195,000.
I haven't seen that here in a long time.
But that's 97,793 was 6 months worth of production. So based on that math, that is conservative.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that. I may have gotten off because I know some months it didn't show, some months it showed. Some months you said you didn't get the check in time to put it in. So, I mean, we can leave it at 150,000. I'd like to get back to the point with our budget where we weren't relying on that money at all. And we were setting it back for for our grant matches and capital expenditure. Which obviously this time we do have the capital expenditure of the gas fuel tank, or the Jet A.
And I'll also point out that we haven't made any transfers from our fund balance into as revenue.
Right,
So this year.
right. But if we get where we're not relying on the oil money, we won't have to in the future either.
Well, all that comes down, I mean, our reliance on that money comes down to our expenditures. And so, I mean, that's where we can look at, there's not any capital outlay that's not grant related. We do have the $352,000 that will be our portion of the fuel farm, or whatever we're calling it. And that's all we've got in the capital outlay. The rest of it's operating.
Out of that 300 and some thousand though, don't we have shared trust money? So, yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, we budgeted the oil money.
Received.
I thought we did, I thought we got $100,000 check for sure, I did.
Do what?
We haven't got that $150,000 check for sure, have we?
I honestly couldn't.
We'd have to go back and look. I don't think it has a.
Well, if we're getting it this year, I mean, it'll come in as this year's revenue, and then that would be money that we use next year. If we don't get it until closer to the project going forward, then we should probably put that in our revenue projection for donations.
Was it 125,000 or was it 100?
It's 150,000.
Yeah. I thought we received it, maybe not.
We've received the pledge. I know we've received the pledge. We've got,
Right.
they're good for it.
Right, no, but I mean, I thought we actually had received that. I could be mistaken.
I mean, a lot of these items on the expense side, we're, budgeting less than we budgeted last year.
Well, I had noticed that some of your proposed budget numbers were less than what your estimated as a projection, and I understand that that's not accurate. But like, for example, on your insurance, you have a projection there that went over the previous budget, and you kept the same number for this proposed budget,
Because that's paid once a year.
but you're not expecting
We,
an increase.
we're expecting it to stay the same.
Right. So
Or are
this-
you talking health insurance?
No, I don't, it's,
Which item?
it's 520-328. Under other services and charges.
That's what I have.
And we, again, pay that once a year. And year to date,
I mean, I don't mind if it stays at the one, I was just curious because it went up, I mean, we have an estimated of almost, what?
yeah, you're right, Paul. Because year to date, it's almost 12, or it's a little over 11,000. We need to at least budget that much.
And then you go up a line to the utilities, it's up too. Or it needs to be increased from the proposed.
Is there, how does the city position themselves? Like I received a letter today from OG&E, on their proposed rate increase that they sent out on the 29th of December. How's that affecting, how are you budgeting for that? Are you factoring that in if it passes, or do you not worry about it till it passes?
I didn't think I
We'll get that letter.
increase.
Actually, they just came to
But we also got notice that ONG is going to have a reduction.
See if you're the offset.
See, you may,
Neither, Heather got the letter today, we didn't know.
I didn't even know
No, I
about
understand.
that.
Well, I understand. I mean, based on your history, I didn't know if you, obviously it hasn't been approved by the Corporation Commission yet. But I didn't know if you factored that into your budget that you're working, or you wait till it actually happens before you worry about it.
We had factored it in. Like I said, it was unknown information when this was being prepared. We do have, contingency dollars in other areas and whatnot. It's not an exact science. We have some areas that we can certainly make look more realistic. So, I'm going to say we 4515 interest earned to 45,000. I'm going to say we put the utilities to 16,000. I'm going to say we put the insurance to 12,000.
What did you say was in those 16?
Utilities.
Thank you.
So with your personnel that you have going forward, Derek, do you feel that the salaries and the overtime will remain stable?
Less overtime. I can still go on vacation without having to come back and work. I can, and Jason will be during the week and covering some weekends. Yeah, I think the salary, we'll keep it pretty stable. It won't fluctuate, and the overtime will be gone because I don't have to be working on the Saturdays. So I don't really. I feel like this way, with Jason starting, and I can actually take a vacation and not have to worry about. I can actually leave town on vacation. And I just think this is a win-win situation for everybody.
So you want to leave it all, based on your numbers, you want to leave it all there, 50,000? You feel comfortable doing that?
I do feel comfortable with that. I make no guarantees, but I do feel comfortable with
Well, I
that.
understand, you're not out there pumping it. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I do feel comfortable with that.
Okay.
But that would,
Because this no pumping for 3 months this is the first time I had heard about that. So I was just kind of looking at the.
Yeah, there was whenever they had to work over on it. I want to say late last year. Can't remember, but it was sometime around there, October.
I remember seeing the zero, and I would inquire about it, and I was told that this had to be done before the check came in order to be ready for our meeting.
We did get the government air card situation taken care of, so we have that capability back again. So hopefully that kind of helps fuel sales too.
just a second, I'll give you David numbers.
I'm just curious, there's a 4621 is refunds. Is that refunds on oil sales, on overpaid hangar rent? People sell their airplane it out?
Yeah, they were a problem. How much is it?
Well, we had nothing in the previous budget. We have estimated 1320 and you had 1200 in this budget. I was just curious as to what refunds was.
Well, sometimes when I first took over the billing, a lot of those might have been amendment refunds because I put, sometimes I double charged. We had to go back and redo that. A little bit of a learning curve there.
So I would recommend that we recommend an amended airport budget. The items I mentioned earlier, I think you wrote those down, right? Which would give us total revenues of $1,250,986. Total expenses of $1,250,986. $238,601, and a net income of $12,670. I move that we recommend that.
Second.
Motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Parker,
Yes.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
You wrote all that down for me on that spreadsheet.
You might double check on that.
Well, that spreadsheet you created will double check your math.
We'll go on to the next item, number 6, discussion and action to enter into executive session pursuant to 25 OS 307B1, discuss the annual review of the City of Alva Airport Manager for FY 23-24.
Move we enter into executive session.
Second.
And call the roll.
Parker,
Yes.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.